What's up everybody, welcome back or to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a modification on my 2015 Road King right over here. And it's going to be a modification that I do to any touring Harley Davidson that I ever own. And what that is installing the Tall Boy Cycles floorboard relocation brackets. Because I'm a taller guy at 6'3", 6'4", I need a little bit more leg room. And from the factory, the stock riding position of the floorboards just don't give me enough leg room. Now there are multiple things that I typically do to all of my bikes to gain me as much room as possible, and we will be doing those to this Road King, but today I'm going to start with just doing the floorboard relocation brackets because they definitely help out and give me a lot more leg room. So let's first take a look at the bike and then we'll hop into the installation. Let's get this going. Okay, so as I said, this is my 2015 Harley Davidson Road King, and it does have the factory floorboards, and I probably will be swapping those out for a different floorboard at a later time. But for now, we need to get those floorboards down and forward just a little bit more because my riding position with these stock floorboards does not give me enough leg room. So I always like to start off on getting those floorboards shifted down and forward. And there's not many people out there that make relocation brackets for this except for Tall Boy Cycles. So if you want a set of these, I'll put a link in the description of this video. But without further ado, let's take a couple quick measurements of the floorboard off the floor, and then I'll show you some measurements of me on the bike with them, and then we'll get into the installation. So let's get this started. Okay, so let me try to get the bike somewhat up level. I'll try to do my best here to keep it as level as I can. But let's go ahead and assume that that's relatively level. So as you can see here, the top of the floorboard, now again, I'm looking from above, so you can probably see better than me, but the top of the floorboard is probably right around 11 inches if we're going right at about the middle. Now let me go ahead and do it like this. Okay, so assuming that's pretty much as level as I can get it, okay, that's about where my leg is. But as you can see here, my knee is pretty much level with the tank up here, and that's about where my foot is if I try to line it up on the actual floorboard. Now when I do this modification, my foot is going to go down and forward a little bit, so I expect my toe to be a little bit more underneath or almost in front of this shifter peg here. But I just wanted to show you where my foot is with my standard sitting position with the stock floorboard location. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's get this installation started. Okay, so let's go open up the box. But again, I really do like these Tall Boy Cycles relocation brackets because they do make a huge difference in riding position for taller riders. Now, I did do the same bracket install video on my last Harley Davidson build, which was a 2016 Street Glide. So if you want to see what these relocation brackets look like on a Street Glide, I already have a video posted for that, and I'll put that video link in the description of this video as well. But today, I just want to show you what these brackets look like on a Road King. So when you open it up, you're going to have plenty of padding. Each bracket is going to be labeled so that you know exactly where it's going to go. So that's the shifter side front, the brake side rear, brake side front, and then you're going to have shifter side rear. So I would first start off just saying, put them in order as you would put them on the bike, okay? You're going to have the left side of the bike, which is the shifter, front, rear, the right side of the bike, which is your brake, front, rear. So in the box, you're also going to have some extension bolts here, and you're going to have your directions. So the directions are pretty simple and easy. I mean, it's not too hard to do this. You're basically going to take the brackets right here. So underneath your main bracket that holds your floorboard, unbolt it from there, and then unbolt the factory bracket here. You're taking those factory bracket mounts off, and then once you take those brackets off the bottom, we'll take this up on the bench, take the floorboard off, then we'll go ahead and mount the floorboard to the new brackets, and then we'll go ahead and mount the brackets back to the bike. So let me go ahead and start taking those two bolts out here, and then we'll pop this whole floorboard off and we'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and I got the left side floorboard taken off the bike. It's pretty simple. It's just two bolts on the bottom. to take off the bottom piece right here and this piece right here. So what you're gonna do now is you're going to move this stuff out of the way. Start with the shifter side rear or front, line them up to where they're gonna go. So that's basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna line up the front with the front, you're gonna line up the back with the back. That's the way it's sitting on the bike. We'll call that the front and that the back, so we'll put the front and the back lined up respectively. Then what we gotta do is take this little Allen bolt off right here. Just take this bolt off, that bolt pops right out, this whole bracket slides right off, put the new bracket on, bolt it down, same thing with the back. Once we have that done, we'll start reattaching it back to the bike. So let me go ahead and do that and we'll be right back. Okay, so we went ahead and I got the first set of brackets put on. So again, this would be the front of the bike this way. So if we're standing on the side of the bike, this is the front over here. Okay, this is the front. I wanted you to see what these brackets should look like when you mount them. So the front one is gonna come straight out and then angle back like this. The back portion is gonna angle this way, and you want the peg to be at the bottom. So if I go ahead and grab this and flip the entire floorboard over just like that, that's what you want them to look like, just like this. Okay, so just make sure you take a picture of that. When you mount them, just make sure this lines up to how you did them, and then they're gonna line right back up to the bike, just like this. That bottom peg here is gonna go right in that bottom hole right there. Your bolt goes in the top, right into that top bolt there. The other bolt goes right through here with a nut on the other side. So let me go ahead, mount that back up. I'm gonna go ahead and do the right side of the bike, which is the same exact process. Let me get those both bolted up and we'll be right back and I'll show you how they look like in the end. Okay, so we are back and we got the floorboard brackets put on. This is what they're gonna look like here. Again, what I really like about these Tall Boy Cycles floorboard relocation brackets is that they actually move your floorboards down 2 inches, forward 2 inches, and then away from the bike roughly a ½ an inch. So you do get a lot more foot and leg extension with these brackets. Now let's go check out the other side. Again, the other side is just as simple. Same thing, you're gonna unbolt that bottom bolt there, that bottom bolt over there to take off the floorboard, disassemble your floorboard from the brackets, put your new brackets on. That's basically what they're gonna look like there. And again, it's gonna push your floorboard down 2 inches, forward 2 inches, and out away from the bike roughly a ½ an inch. Now you do have to be careful when you're running lower fairings because sometimes, depending on your lower fairing, some of these extension kits might start to get in the way, but I typically don't run lower fairings, so I'm not worried about that. But I just wanted to show you that if you're a taller person, let's say over 6 foot or taller, and you're looking to gain a little bit more leg room and foot position room, you definitely want to check out these Tall Boy Cycles floorboard relocation brackets because they do make a difference. I put them on my last bike, which was a 2016 Street Glide. I loved them, so I was putting them on this bike because it definitely helps out. So let's go ahead and take another quick measurement. Okay, same thing we did before. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and try to level the bike as much as we can. Now remember, the last time on the stock brackets, the top of the floorboard was roughly 11 inches, okay? If we try to level the bike, let me see if it's roughly level there. Okay, now look at them. So as you can see, the floorboards definitely went down a pretty significant amount. At stock level, the top of the floorboard was right around 11 inches. Now, as you can see, it's definitely a lot shorter. Now let's go ahead and see what my leg position looks like now. Again, it's nothing drastic, but trust me, it makes a pretty big difference, okay? So now look, I'm on the stock seat and even the stock seat feels a little bit better now because of my leg position. So as I mentioned before, when I put my foot in the proper position, I was expecting my toe to be underneath the shifter, if not just slightly in front of the shifter, which is exactly where it is. So this works out perfect. I'm really happy with this. And again, I love these floorboard relocation brackets because again, I'm a taller guy and a lot of the stock position of floorboards on these touring Harley Davidsons just never give me enough leg room, and these floorboard brackets definitely help. And one more thing I just wanted to mention, you do need to adjust your floor shifter here because remember, you're lowering your floorboard down 2 inches. So you're gonna wanna make sure you adjust your gear shifter down slightly to make up for the difference that your floorboard dropped down as well. Now, I also recommend a set of Kuryakyn extended shift levers, which I will be getting in this week. I did order them. They should be coming in later this week. So I'll go ahead and do an install video of those on the Road King. I have already done install videos of the Kuryakyn extended shift lever and the brake lever on the opposite side on my previous bike, which was a Street Glide, but I'll be doing them again on this Road King because they do make a pretty big difference. So I do have that coming here this week. And if you're like me and you don't really like to use the heel shifter and you just take it off, I do have a metal bracket spacer that goes back here that will actually take your front toe shift lever and shift it out a little bit, since you no longer have to have this space here, because this is just a rubber spacer right here. But I'll be doing that. That'll be coming in another day or so. So I'll be doing an install video on that as well when I do the shift lever. So stay tuned for that video as well. Okay, everybody, so there you go. This was a pretty simple and easy modification that you could do to your touring model Harley Davidson. If you're a taller rider and you need a little bit more leg room, I definitely recommend these floorboard relocation brackets. Now, I will say this. When I go around corners at a very low angle, I have sometimes scraped my floorboard, but I've also scraped pegs and floorboards in the past if I took corners a little bit too low. So all I would recommend is try them out and then go drive. My typical daily driving that I do on a regular basis, I hardly ever scrape my floorboards. Sometimes I do, but most of the time it's not that bad. So with these floorboard relocation brackets lowering my floorboards, it really hasn't caused me any issues on my day-to-day driving. Now again, some of you that might really like to take corners really low, and I'm talking really lean into those curves, you might find that you're scraping your floorboards a little bit more. So if that's the case, it's up to you if you want these or not. But I'm just suggesting that if you're a taller rider and you need more leg room, definitely give these Tall Boy Cycles floorboard relocation brackets a go. They really do make a big difference. So that's it for today's video. I hope this video helps some of you out. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And also do me a favor, subscribe to the channel because it definitely helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. So that's it for today's video. I just want to say thanks again. I truly appreciate all of you. Thank you for sticking with me and supporting this channel. I truly do appreciate you all. So thank you one more time. And as always, see you in the next video.